Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing well. I'm just hanging out with my boo. I'll tell you what guys, it has gotten more and more difficult to be able to pick up fragrances that are good for under 20 bucks. Back years ago, you had a lot of different options. Nowadays, most options that are actually decent are gonna be clone fragrances under 20. But I didn't wanna do that for today's video. I wanted to do just designers. And after looking and searching through different discounters online, these are some of what I feel like are the absolute best scents that you can buy today for under 20 bucks. Now, like I said, that is if you're shopping at discounters. If you go into a store and you look for these, it's probably not gonna be under 20, assuming that you could actually find them in a store. And most of the pricing I pulled from JOMASHOP and Gift Express, which by the way, I have codes for those right here. Yeah, codes right at the beginning. So if you shop for fragrances and you wanna save even more money at discounters, use these different codes to save yourself some cash. Ho, ho, ho. And all of these are gonna be linked in the description down below. The first one I wanna start with is this, L'eau d'Issey. This one I found for $18.50. Now that was a 40 ml size, but still, that is an actual full-size bottle of the fragrance. None of these are like 5 mils or anything like that, because you can find little miniature size bottles of all kinds of stuff for under 20 bucks, but what are you gonna do with it? It's for babies, it's for ants. At least 40 mils is enough that you can wear it more than once. So yeah, $18.50, crazy cheap, especially considering this is one of the biggest fresh fragrances of the past 30 years. And to be fair, I mean, it is about that old. But it still works, just like the original Aqua de Jo still works. This one makes use of yuzu, which gives it a different kind of vibe off the top, you know, a different kind of citrus instead of your more typical bergamot or grapefruit. It has a really nice aromatic zinginess to it, so it's gonna be a little bit greener than some of the other freshies out there. Stuff, like I said, still works extremely well. Really, really versatile. Great for daytime use during spring, summer, or fall. And honestly, you can pull it off during winter as well. Maybe spray a little heavier, but who cares? So under 20 bucks, you can get one of the most heralded fresh scents of all time, $18.50. Now, to be fair, if you're a younger guy and you like fragrances that are sweeter, that have more of that kind of coming across, this one is not really a sweet bomb. It is a product of its time, but for under $20, it is killer. Now, the next one might get some eye rolls, but you can get it for $18.99. You can find this under 20 bucks pretty much anywhere, and it's one of the most hyped cheap fragrances ever. It is Voyage by Nautica. And to be fair, you can find some of the other Voyage fragrances for under 20 bucks as well, but I feel like if you're gonna get just one, probably better to stick to this one. And like I said, some people might roll their eyes. They might go like, ugh, Nautica Voyage. Like, come on, dude. But the fact remains that under $20, this stuff right here is amazing. The problem is, I think some people go into it expecting Nautica Voyage to smell like some $400 or $500 niche fragrance because it's been hyped up as a really good cheapie for so long. But if you go into it with the understanding, I'm paying almost nothing and I'm getting a fragrance that consistently pulls compliments, smells fresh, clean, very wearable, and pleasant in terms of quality for the price, that's a win. It's just kind of your mindset. And also to an extent, you do have that kind of like reverse backlash. Is that even, I don't even think that's the right way to say it. But what I'm talking about is you have people who will be like, this is hyped and a lot of people like it at this price point. I will trash it to get cred. You see how that works. And so this is gonna catch a lot of that, especially like on TikTok, man. They love to crap on this there. But I feel like this one works for pretty much any age range. The green apple in there smells really nice off the top. It has kind of a fresh, lightly floral, aquatic vibe to it. Also a little bit green as well. And to me, Nautica Voyage has always been a solid scent for the price. Again, it's not gonna make anybody think, oh, what is that $600 what you have on? Like, that's not gonna happen, but people will think it smells pleasant. They will think it smells nice, and you never have to worry when you wear it. You can spray it and go wherever you want. This next one is insanely cheap, just barely over $15 at $16.98, and it is Dunhill Icon Racing Green. Dunhill, bro, you've seen better days. I do wonder when or if Dunhill is gonna make a fragrance comeback. Because when it comes to this line in particular, the Icon fragrances, and actually pretty much everything that came after them, for a moment in time, just a split second, people were excited about what Dunhill was doing. Because the original icon came out, new presentation, very heavy in the hand, felt premium, smelled good, especially at the price you could pick it up for because they were always kind of affordable at discounters. But people were like, man, Dunhill, bringing some fire here. And then just over time, like releases got worse and worse and worse and nobody bought them. But at this price, again, just under $17, and it was at Gift Express, 50 ml size, still full presentation and everything. This is insanely cheap for what you get. So this one off the top, it has citrus, grapefruit and bergamot, along with cardamom. As it dries down, orange blossom, lavender, a little bit of pepper, and also musk. It's not super close. It is a little bit similar to something like Legend Spirit from Mont Blanc or Invictus Aqua. Not super duper close, but close enough that if you're familiar with those scents, when you smell this one, you might go, oh, yeah, a little bit of that. This one's not quite as sweet as those fragrances. It does have a little bit of that bubblegummy sweetness, but this one is going to keep it a little bit cleaner, slightly more aromatic, and it gives you something that you can wear pretty much whenever you want. Because like those other fragrances, very versatile, really people-pleasing, easygoing. Presentation looks good, and at the price point, man, just a total steal. And the Dunhill fragrances, by and large, I think are pretty much killed off. I know I've seen a lot of talk over the years like, oh, they're all discontinued, they're discontinued. I'm not gonna tell you you have to rush out like right this second and buy it or else it's gonna be gone tomorrow. But I am telling you that at the price it's at now, it is a steal. Let's get a classic in here. How about this one? Cool Water. Really easy to find under 20 bucks. I found it for $18.95. If I looked a little bit harder, I'm sure I could find it for like 15. And Cool Water was done by the same perfumer that did Green Irish Tweed by Creed, which is why if you smell this and you smell Green Irish Tweed, they smell pretty similar. This one obviously is cheaper, and it is going to smell cheaper next to the Creed, of course, but it still gives you that same wearability, which is what all these do. And this stuff still sells like hotcakes in Europe. This was like a top 30 bestseller over there. Yeah, good taste. Very fresh, aromatic, clean, classy, gentlemanly, and with a massive note breakdown to boot, which is very different compared to fragrances nowadays that have 3 notes most of the time. Cool Water is one of those ones that, yeah, it's not gonna be under the radar, you know, it's not really a hidden gem. Everybody knows Cool Water, or they should. But the fact that you can still scoop it for under 20 bucks and wear it pretty much whenever you want means it has to be included. And also I love Green Irish Tweed, which means I guess I have to love Cool Water too. Now something that is a little bit more of a hidden gem. This is Pepe Jean's Cocktail. Not to be taken, it says. I found this one for $18.95, and it was actually a really big surprise to find this one because this is one that I haven't actually seen at discounters for a while. But yeah, under 20 bucks, it was Gift Express that had this one. And this one does come with a couple caveats. Caveat 1, citrus. There's a lot. It's gonna have yuzu and grapefruit as soon as you spray it on. Very strong with the citrus. It smells fresh, it smells clean. It's not like super duper tart, but there is a touch of rindiness in there. So you're gonna get a little bit of that, just not as overdosed as something like Light Blue Forever. You know, it's not on that level. You also have ginger in here, which is gonna really help with the opening, keeps it bright, sparkling, very attention grabbing, a little bit zingy when you first spray it on. And then there's a fresh green cardamom and some woodiness as it dries down. So that's one caveat. The citrus. Definitely more of a warm weather scent, you know, more like late spring through summer, early fall. Definitely more of a daytime fragrance, but you should be able to tell that just by taking a look at the bottle. You should be able to deduce that, I feel like anyway. The other caveat, the performance. It is not super strong. To be fair, again, we are talking under 20 bucks for a fragrance that centers on citrus, so I'm not sure why you would think, oh, that's gotta be unholy. That stuff's gonna last 15 hours. If you are thinking that, give me some what you're smoking, because it's probably pretty good. But yeah, performance, it is so-so. That being said, it is cheap. You can spray it on like crazy. And if you love citrus, and I do, my wife does, this stuff, really nice to add to the collection. All right, we're gonna do kind of 2 fragrances at once. It is the Drakkar Bros. Drakkar Noir, Drakkar Intense. I found these for $17.09 and $18.99, so under 20 bucks for both. There's also a new Drakkar Blue, which maybe you could find that one also, but I went looking for these, so yeah. Now Drakkar Noir, the OG, this is my stuff, okay? Really solid. classic fougere, you know, very masculine. It's got that barbershop-y kind of feel to it. You probably would smell it and feel like it smells very throwback-ish, because it is. But at the price point, man, you can't go wrong with this. This stuff is great. I love it. And I personally feel like this indirectly led to Sauvage Elixir many years later. Drakkar Intense, bit different. This has more of a slightly warm, sweet aspect to it. Could remind you a little bit of something like Azzaro Pour Homme Intense, which has gotten harder to find over the years. It's got a nice blast of lavender in there. Has a little bit of leather as it dries down. Also has patchouli and almost like a slightly, as I said before, sweet, warm spiciness to it, even though it's not overloaded with spices as far as the note breakdown goes. Another one that's very classy, very masculine, and is definitely not gonna be for the guys looking for a sweet bomb. Let's go with another summertime staple right here, St. Barts by Tommy Bahama. Now, same thing that I talked about over here with the performance. It's not good, okay? It's not good, but it's bad. But the price is $17.50, which is pretty good. And you can tell that it's not gonna be great as far as the performance goes just because it is an eau de cologne. So yeah, this is not even an eau de toilette. But I mean, just check that out, man. That is summertime vacation in a bottle, right? It just looks like you're at the beach. And it smells really nice too. The performance, as I said, is not great, but it doesn't matter because you can drown yourself in this stuff. Blast it on. I've always really liked this smell. It is definitely affordable. Kind of comes across affordable, but it's just really pleasant. It's got a nice, like sea salty tropical vibe to it, a little bit of a boozy aspect to it. And for a really, really long time, people use this as an alternative or a clone to Virgin Island water by Creed. Like that was what you got for years and years, and nobody complained except for Jeff. Jeff, what are you doing? There's one dude out there named Jeff watching this like, what? It wasn't me, it was the other Jeff. That guy's a douche. Like I was saying though, Tommy Bahama, Set Sail St. Barts, this stuff, great for people who want to smell like they have Virgin Island water on the cheap. And for a minute there, I was collecting anything Tommy Bahama that was in this bottle style, which to be fair was not that many fragrances, but I looked forward to them because I was like, this is the stuff I can scoop up on the cheap and be settled, you know, going to the beach, going on vacation, whatever in the summertime, you can hit yourself with 25 sprays. It doesn't matter. So I was looking for any of these, and this one was always my favorite. This one and St. Kitts. I've got 5 more. Let's speed it up. The next one is Encre Noire à l'Extrême by Lalique. Look, Encre Noire Sport, and this one, all 3 you can find for under 20 bucks. This one was just barely under. It was $19.95, but still that counts. I would say of the 3, Encre Noire Sport would be the easiest one for more people to wear. And while Encre Noire Sport is easier to wear than this one or the original, it is not like Chanel Allure Homme Sport levels of easy. It's just easier. But if you take into consideration that you can get all those under 20 bucks and you're just trying to get the absolute best bang for your buck, it's probably this one. It still has that kind of green, slightly dank, earthy, dark, rooty woodiness. It is, as people used to say, niche quality for cheap. And this one, compared to the original, just has a little more complexity, a little more depth to it. Get some nice incense that comes through, whole bunch of vetiver, and then a little bit of benzoin as it dries down. So you get this slight kind of resinous vibe coming through. And you could also kind of use it as an alternative to Chanel's Sycamore. This is a little bit similar to that. Now a newer fragrance that the pricing just absolutely fell out on. Like the bottom just bloop. Coach Open Road, $19.95. Now you can also get some other Coach fragrances for cheap. You know, there's a bunch of them like the original one that you don't have to pay too much for, but if you're strictly doing under 20 bucks, this one. It's extremely versatile, very easy to wear, office safe. In the opening, you have a touch of red apple and lemon. Not a whole heck of a lot. Honestly, you could probably use more of that, but you get a little bit, and then as it dries down, you get Sichuan pepper, which really is more noticeable off the top than even the fruity notes. Clary sage, vetiver, cedar, lavender as it dries down. So it is fairly standard in some ways. Like it's made to be worn, it's made to be an aromatic, fresh, spicy fragrance with just a touch of sweetness from the fruit, a touch, and then woodiness as it dries down, just like modern woodiness. So it is that type of scent that you can basically throw in a bag, spray, and go. And it's absolutely competently done. Like when you smell it, nothing is out of balance, nothing is out of place. It's just, I feel like it's maybe missing that one part that would have pushed it over the edge, you know? Something in the opening or the dry down that just really set the whole thing ablaze. Instead, it just smells nice the whole way through. Lalique, again, this one is pour homme, and really with Lalique, most of their stuff is way cheaper than it should be as far as discounters go, because the quality is higher than the price. So this stuff is absolutely going to be for the gentleman out there, okay? This is 100,000% for somebody looking for something that is old money smelling. It smells similar to Creed's Bois de Portugal, so it's going to be right in that wheelhouse, in that style. It's extremely refined. It is not something that younger guys are going to really want. Unless you're just into like older school smelling fragrances, then you probably would. It's got lavender and rosemary off the top, little touch of citrus, not too much. As it dries down, oak moss, of course, cedar, sandalwood, vanilla, some of the other notes. Longevity actually pretty good, sticks around for a long time. Projection is not bad either. I've got like 2 or 3 bottles of this stuff that I picked up over the years because they were just so cheap. And I don't think the price is gonna skyrocket on this at any time, really. But for the price point, it's just a killer pickup if you like scents in that style. Guess Seductive Noir is up next. This one, $18.95, and it actually has somehow the best atomizer out of everything here, and it's not close. Check out the Guess atomizer. Nice. It's not quite a really high-end pressurized atomizer, but it is somehow better than stuff that you'll find on like the new Boss Bottled Absolute or the Most Wanted. In terms of notes, it has a really nice apple off the top, a little bit of nutmeg, a bunch of tonka as it dries down. Also has lavender in there, sandalwood as well. It smells kind of similar to 1 Million, Paco Rabanne's 1 Million, just the original. And actually the performance is not too bad here either. Like as far as a sub $20 scent, this stuff can last you all fall, all winter. It can get you compliments. And if you don't want to tell people you're wearing Guess, you can lie and say that you're wearing 1 Million, and it's close enough that probably nobody's gonna know, and definitely nobody's gonna care. And the final fragrance, Match Point Cologne by Lacoste. And even though this is called Match Point Cologne, it is in fact an eau de toilette. So yeah. And it has one of my favorite notes off the top, rhubarb. You barely ever see that note used in men's fragrances, but it's in here along with citrus. As it dries down, it has lavender, it's got cashmere, and it has some woody notes as well. The only drawback here is the performance is once again so-so. But in typical Lacoste fashion, it smells both at the same time, sporty and classy, so you can wear it pretty much anywhere and it's gonna fit in. And in terms of the actual quality, it's really, really good for a fragrance that you can pick up for under 20 bucks. Especially when you consider that nowadays everything just keeps getting more expensive. Fewer and fewer designers are available at this price point, or any of these. So there we go, all of those scents, all of them designers, most of them from pretty well-known brands, and all of them you can find under $20 pretty easy. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me here until the end. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.